So we'll see how well that goes. Okay, that way if you need it for the future. All right, anyway, I just did that, so hopefully that's working. But what I'm going to do is just get everybody logged in, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. In the chat box right now, I'm going to put in your login credentials. So you're going to want to jot this down. When you go to log into your NetVendor account, this is where you're going to go, the screen that you're looking on right now, netvendor.net. It's going to ask you for an email and password. Your email is just going to be whatever you use for work. So it's whatever, maybe your name at Fickling or your property name or whatever it may be. Just use that as your email. And I am going to put your password in the chat box. There it is right there for you. Everybody has the same one, the same password for now. It's NetVendor12, capital N, capital V. As soon as we're done with the training, you're free to log in, and you can certainly change that password. You can keep it forever if you love it. If you don't love it, feel free to change it. All right, so let's go ahead and get logged in. I will be stopping periodically, asking for questions. Okay, so if you don't want to listen to me talk the entire time, feel free to chime in. You can also ask questions in your chat box as well, and I'll be looking at those from time to time. Okay, because I want to make sure when we're done with this, you have a really good grasp on what's in your account and how to find stuff. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and log in. So you can see a little login button right here at the top right. And this is what your login page looks like. If you ever forget your password, you can just click on this Forgot Your Password link. Don't worry about this first-time user thing. I know it will be your first time, but you don't have to generate anything. We did that for you. So I am going to find my Fickling login. There it is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in, and this is where it's going to take me. This is your landing page. So you can see there's some stuff up here at the top, some stuff over here on the side, and some pretty colored boxes. So let's just go over this stuff real quick. This is called your dashboard. So we're already here, dashboard's here, and you can get to it by clicking dashboard on the left-hand side as well. But we are already here. So what your dashboard is going to tell you is just, you know, some things like recent enrollments, you know, how many compliant vendors you have, how many non-compliant. It's going to give you some percentages down here. This is just for you to look at, okay? There's nothing that you have to do here. If you want to ignore it, go for it. If you want to pay attention to it, great. It's here for you, but you don't have to spend a whole lot of time here if you don't want to. All right, let's go ahead and go through. Oh, wait, hold on, one thing. There is a training video right here. So I'm trying to record this training. I hope it's working. If it's not, for some reason, there is a training video right here. It's going to go over the exact same stuff, but just super condensed. It's not even 6 minutes long. So you don't have to sit and take an hour out of your day to watch the training video. So if you need a refresher, just go ahead, click on that, or can be super helpful if someone is new in your office and you want them to learn how to use NetVendor, just have them watch the video real quick. That's going to be helpful. Alrighty, you know what? Let's go over one more thing before we move on. Sorry. Up here on the right side, you're going to see your name with a little smiley face. If you want to edit your profile, phone number, name, address, anything like that, you're just going to click on Edit Profile. If you want to change your password from NetVendor12 to whatever you want, just click on Change Password, and you can do that right there. And you can sign out down here. So pretty easy stuff. All right, let's move on to something that is going to be super helpful. I'm going to click on this Vendors tab right here. You can do a bunch of stuff here. Okay, this is probably where you're going to spend most of your time. This is where you can search for your vendors, meaning they're already enrolled with Fickling. You can also search for vendors who are not enrolled with you, but they are on NetVendor's public list. So what that means is the vendor's already enrolled with us with a different property management company, but you can still find them and invite them. Benefit to using our public list is we already have a relationship with the vendor. They know who we are, we know who they are, we know their insurance agent, so things can just go a little bit quicker sometimes. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. And then I'll also show you a few different ways that you can invite vendors to enroll. Now again, your vendors who are enrolling on Monday, you don't have to do a thing with those existing vendors. We've got that for you, okay? All right, let's go ahead and search the public list first. So this is your vendor search box here. Okay, so if you want to search for a vendor, like let's say you're looking for a landscaper and there isn't one that's already enrolled with you in your area, you can search our public list. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is check this box. It says search all NetVendor vendors. If you want to search your list, you leave that box unchecked. If you want to search the public list, check it. You're going to want to put in a few things. You don't have to put in all this stuff, okay, because obviously you're not going to know their name because you haven't even chosen them yet. You don't need to know their address, but I would definitely suggest putting in a zip code. Otherwise, you're going to get thousands upon thousands of results, and you're not going to need that many. So go ahead, put in your zip code. Under vendor services, this is the type of vendor you want. Now, this list is very, very long, so if you don't feel like scrolling through the whole thing, you can just start typing in the search box. Like I said, we want a landscaper. And then you can select the type of vendor you're looking for. You can choose state if you want. You've already got zip code in there, so you don't necessarily have to choose a state. I will just because I like it. And then you can select a radius. How far do you want that vendor search to go? 5 miles all the way down to 100 miles. I'm just going to say 10. So when you've filled out all that information, go ahead, click on search, and all those vendors are going to show up down here at the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, there's a big long list of landscapers in that area. All right, you can see a few things right away about these vendors. You can see if they're compliant or not in this column here. Now, keep in mind, when you invite them, they will be non-compliant with you because we still need to get a certificate of insurance. All this column is telling you is that they're compliant or not with some management company that is not you. Okay, so this doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. If they're not compliant with someone else, they can certainly still get compliant with you. Got their business name and their address. NVID stands for NetVendor ID. Okay, this is a 4 or 5-digit number that is not super important to you. It is to us, but it's not anything that you need to remember, write down. It's just an easy way for us to locate vendors. But again, it's not mandatory that you know this number. And then you've got reviews over here. Oh, good, someone's calling in. Oh, whoever just called in, could you maybe mute your phone? There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, if your phone's not muted, maybe go ahead and mute it. You did. Thank you so much. Okay. I get distracted easy, so that kind of stuff just distracts me. I apologize. All right, in this column here, you'll see this Invite Vendor button. Okay, so if you like this vendor right here, first you can click on their business name and see more of their contact information. And if you like them, you can click on Invite. And we're just going to generate an email for you. So we're going to make it nice and easy and quick. We're going to auto-populate their email address, put their business name in there, and then this is the email that we have created for them that you can send. You can customize this email. It's pretty generic, so you can certainly make it say whatever you want. The only thing that we ask that you do not change is this blue link right here. Because when the vendor gets this email, all they need to do is click this link and it takes them straight to the enrollment page, which I will show you later. So just don't remove this because this is going to be key for them enrolling. And then you click on send invitation, boom, vendor's got it. They can enroll, get compliant, and that's all there is to it. So that's how you search for a vendor and invite a vendor from our public list. Now you don't have to use our public list. If you go on Google and you find someone awesome and you want to invite them, or a friend of yours refer someone, of course you can still invite them. You're just going to do it a little bit differently. All you have to do is go to the top of your page now where it says Tools. Click on that, click on Invite, and here's that exact same email. Okay, only difference is this is going to be blank. It auto-populated because I was just in there, but this will be blank. So you're just going to need their email address for sure. And then it gives them the same email and then send invitation. So you can invite whoever you want, whether they're already with us or not. All right, before I move on, Is there any questions on searching for a vendor from the public list or inviting a vendor? Nope. All right, I will take the silence as no questions. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, now, we want to be able to search for a vendor that's already with you though, right? If you have something going on your property and you know a vendor is already enrolled with you, please look in your NetVendor account before you use them. Make sure they're compliant. If they're not compliant for some reason and they are on your property, it's a liability risk. Okay, because we don't know what kind of insurance they have, or maybe they have a failed background that's iffy, that hasn't been approved yet. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Make sure they're compliant before you use them. And it really upsets the vendor when they do the work and then they're told they can't get paid because they're not compliant. That really upsets them. So to avoid that, make sure they're compliant first. If it's an emergency, let us know, and we will do everything within our power to get them compliant very, very quickly. So if it's an emergency, please ask us to help. All right, but let's go ahead and search for a vendor who you already know is with you. I'm going to uncheck that box. So to search for a vendor who's with Fickling, you don't have to fill in all these boxes. You can just put their business name, or you can just search for all your landscapers. You can put in their address and state, or if you feel like it, you can leave all of this blank and just click on search vendors, and all of your vendors are going to come down here at the bottom. It's a little sparse right now. No one's enrolled yet. So we have Scott and Superwoman. They're both test vendors. They're not real. So don't try and use them. We'll take them out of your account though, so it won't be confusing. But anyway, it looks pretty similar to the public list. Okay, we've got compliant or not, their business name, where they're located, NetVendor ID number. Here's some reviews. I'll show you that in a bit. What is different though is that instead of an invite button, you've got a date here. So whenever a vendor enrolls, they're paying for a 1-year subscription. $98. It's for the property management company as a whole. So they are not paying per property. $98 per year for all of your vendors who actually set foot on property. And this is just going to give you their expiration date. So if a vendor subscription is expired, they are going to be non-compliant. So just in case you look at an account and you see that they have all their certificates and all their other documents, but they're not compliant, take a look at that subscription date. It's probably because it's expired. All right, let's take a look at this account though. They're not compliant and we want to figure out why. So just click on the business name and we're going to give you a bunch of stuff here. We're going to go through these buttons here. Okay, so the first button is compliance. Are they compliant or are they not? Well, it says right here that they are not, and we're going to tell you why. Anytime something is missing or expired, it's going to be highlighted in pink. So it's pretty obvious. You can see we have all of the other documents. Everything is on file, expiration dates in this column, and what is missing. W-9, background check. VPA stands for Vendor Performance Agreement. That is the contract that the vendor signs between them and you. Not NetVendor, but with Fickling. And then these three items down here, general liability, auto, and workers' compensation. So those are the certificates of insurance. And then it also lists the properties that the vendor is working with. Now keep in mind, if you do not see your property listed here, it's okay. They can still work on your property if they're compliant. You can still find them. You can still contact them. They can still contact you. It's really not that big of a deal. But when the vendor enrolls, we give them the option of selecting properties. So if they don't pick yours, it's okay. We can add them at any time though. So if it makes you feel better just seeing your name there, just let us know. Or let the vendor know. They have their own NetVendor account. They can add properties at any time. All right, keep moving on. If we click on the profile button, there's their vendor ID number again. Here's their information. Here's a little description of what they do. Okay, the vendor writes that themselves when they enroll. Here's a bunch of contact information and a map. All right, let's go over to documents. Hold on just one second, though. Bear with me. There is something in the chat box. Oh, okay. Yeah, the corporate office was just saying they're going to remove all commercial properties and add one that says Fickling Commercial. So thank you for that information. That's good to know. Okay. Under documents, this looks pretty similar to the compliance tab where you can see what they have and what they don't, but this is where you can actually view the documents. You can take a look at them. So these are all links. Anything in blue is a link. So if you want to see their W-9, just click on it. And we'll go ahead and give you a PDF. That way you can print it out or save it or, just reference it. But you'll be able to see this as a vendor's W-9. And you can do that with certificates of insurance as well. Okay, so anything that we have uploaded, you can take a look at. You can see again that auto is missing. You can also see a template of your requirements. So if you're not sure what you guys require, but you want to know, under this column where it says template, these are all templates for you to look at. So I'll click on view, and again, we're going to give you a PDF, and this is what your sample certificate looks like. Anytime we request a certificate from an insurance agent, we give them this. That way we can see, they can see exactly what is required. Here's all of your limit requirements. If you know this and you understand it, awesome. If you don't understand it but you want to, let us know. Okay, we are very knowledgeable with certificates. We know what all this stuff means. So if you also want to know, we can help you with that. If a vendor's asking you questions, you can reference this, or you can certainly have them just contact us directly. Now, one thing you may see different on your certificate of insurance is here in the description of operations box, the wording changed a little bit. So no longer does your property have to be listed as additional insured on the certificate. We're going to cover that though for you. It just has this wording saying Fickling Management, owners, officers, agent, employees, and all managed properties is listed as additional insured. So just in case if a vendor asks, hey, does your property need to be on there? No, it does not anymore, but you are still fully covered. Okay, so as long as the agent adds in all this stuff, it's good to go. We request certificates every single week until we get it. So we're very, very persistent when we ask for the documents. Okay, and we have licensed insurance agents who actually review these documents one by one for accuracy. All right, any questions over any of this stuff? Okay, cool. All right, next tab here is archives. So it's going to say no archives available, and that is just fine in this case. If a certificate of insurance expires and we replace that document with a renewal, we are going to put that expired certificate under archives. That's important just in case you need to see what the vendor had a year ago or 2 years ago. Sometimes management companies get audited, if they want to see all your workers' compensation certificates, we've got all that for you. So we don't just remove stuff and delete it, never to be seen again. We're going to put it in archives for you. So if you need to see an old document, just go ahead and go in there. All right, I clicked on locations. It says no locations. Well, there's one that we know of course. All that means is there's no other locations. So this really is only going to apply to your nationwide people. A great example is Sherwin-Williams. You probably use them for your paint supplies. Most people do. They have thousands of locations across the United States. So if you need to see if there is a Sherwin-Williams location near you, you're just going to look up Sherwin-Williams as a vendor search, click on locations, and all those locations that are with you are going to appear down here. If we click on properties, here's all your properties. Okay, and as we just found out, the corporate locations will be just listed under Fickling, commercial, not corporate, right? Did I get that right? Was it commercial? Yes, commercial. Commercial is going to be there instead of the individual commercial property names. But the green checks means that the vendor checked them, and we already went over. If yours isn't on there, it's okay, but we can always add it if you want us to. All right, I'm going to click on notes. This is helpful. I definitely recommend, if you don't look at any of this other stuff, well, I recommend you looking at the other stuff too. But this one's good too, all right? This is notes. This is going to help you stay in the loop on what we are doing with a vendor's account. So, for example, we know that this particular vendor is missing their auto certificate. And you can say, well, you know, what's NetVendor doing to get that certificate? Have they talked to the agent, vendor? Go under notes, and you can see any notes that we have written about the account. So whenever we talk to a vendor, property manager, agent, we're going to make a note about it, and you can read that note. Over here on the right side, you're going to see Fickling Management internal notes. Now, these are notes that only Fickling can see. NetVendor cannot see these notes. If you want to write an internal note, it's just this button right here, Add Internal Note. You just click on it, write whatever you would like to say, and add it. And then this is where you can read it. So it just may be something helpful for another property manager or something for you to remember about this particular vendor. Go ahead, add in whatever notes you want. We're not going to see it, so just say whatever you want. But these notes, absolutely, these are from us, and we want you to see them. Under reviews, this is where you're going to see any reviews written about the vendor. You guys write the reviews, and if you would like to write a review, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. This button here that says Add Review, we're going to click on it. 1 to 5 stars. Is the review for internal view only? It's always going to be yes. There is no option for no, and all that means is only Fickling can see it. The vendor can't, NetVendor can't. So sometimes if you have to be a little honest, give them some tough love, you can do that here in the review, and no one's going to know except for Fickling. Then you just click on Save, and then you would read it right here. Any questions? Cool, cool. Last one is logs. All right, and then you're going to click on Activity Log. All right, there's a lot of stuff here, but just to kind of help you decipher what you're looking at. Whenever we send a certificate request, it's automated, which means I don't have to go into every vendor's account and manually send a certificate request to an agent. Our system recognizes when a certificate is missing, and it automatically sends a request directly to the agent. Whenever that happens, we put that in the log so we can see when and where and all that good stuff. So this first one, it's just saying COI request sent to this agent, when it was sent. So you can see, yes, we are sending requests for that missing auto certificate. So this is just another way that we're being transparent with you about what we've got going on and what work we're doing to get the vendor compliant. Down here, this is just that a document was processed and saved. You'll also see things about subscription renewals. We start notifying vendors 30 days before their subscription expires. Since it's a requirement, we want to keep them in compliance. So we want to make sure they know that their stuff's expiring. So you'll see all of those kind of automated things, items here in the log. All right, so that is how you search for a vendor on your list and the ins and outs of whether they're compliant and what documents they have and all that good stuff. We are in the home stretch. We're just going to go over these last few items up here at the top of your account. Profile, this is easy. This is just your corporate location. Okay? If you need email addresses, phone numbers, if you want to see a map, what their building looks like, there it is. Looks like a nice building. Okay. Reports. Now, if you want to generate a report on any or all of your vendors, this is going to be helpful. You don't want to have to scroll through your entire vendor list and click on everybody to see if they're compliant or not. That would take you a long time. So we're going to make it a little bit easier for you. you can customize a report, and there's lots of different ways you can do this. So you can play around with it, but just quickly I'll go through. You can create a report just on a specific vendor by putting their information in here. Vendor status, you can create a report just on your non-compliant vendors or just expired subscriptions. Okay, anything you want. Scrolling down, you can select just your property or several properties that you want to create a report on. You can do that. You can come over here to category. I just want to report on my painters or my landscapers or pest management. You can do that. Scrolling down, there is a whole bunch of check marks here. This is everything that is going to be listed on the report. So a ton of stuff, right? If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to sort through all that, just click on this box, uncheck all, and then you can pick and choose what you would like on your report. Now keep in mind, if you leave all this stuff up here blank, that's totally fine. We're just going to give you everything. So you don't have to customize it if you don't want. You can schedule your report. If you want to report every Monday, twice a month, you can certainly do that. You can schedule it right here. Give your report a name, Shannon's Awesome Report of Fickling Vendors. Put your email address in here, and then click on Email Report. And I'll show you. Oh, I don't have it. Just one second. I was supposed to. Let me see if I can get that report for you. I just want you to see what it looks like. Bear with me. It's opening. It's just going to go slow because I want it to hurry. Okie dokie. All right, got it. Okay, here's the report. So it's just in an Excel spreadsheet, right? So there's a lot of stuff. It's all crammed together. That's just the way Excel does things. So, of course, you can make the columns bigger or smaller if you want. You can do whatever you want with this report, okay? But this is just what it looks like. Any questions on that? Okay, one more thing. This is a bids tool for you. Not mandatory, but definitely can be a time saver. If you have a project going on and you want to notify several vendors to see who has the best services, best price, so on and so on, you can create a bid and send it out to all of those vendors all at once. So no individual emails or phone calls necessary. So this is how you do it. Right here is for your sent bids. So just big blank screen. But every time you send a bid, it's going to come up here on project under project info. Okay. But let's scroll down. This is actually how you create the bid. So under project information, you're just going to give it a name, whatever you feel like, description. The vendor will see this, okay? So if you want to make it super descriptive, go for it. Bid expires in. So if it's a time-sensitive project, maybe you just want to give them 10 days to respond to you. Upload RFP, that's request for a proposal. So if you use that type of form, you can upload that here. Any kind of bid-related documents, pictures, anything you want, you can upload. You can select your property if you would like. Under contact information, this is your stuff right here. Okay, so when the vendor responds, this is where it's going to go. So this isn't the vendor's information, this is yours. Under vendor category, you definitely want to pick something. Okay, so we know that we want a landscaper. Under subscription type, you have 3 choices here. You can choose all subscribed vendors, which means all of Fickling vendors. Search all compliant vendors, that's all of your vendors who are compliant, or all vendors in NetVendor. Okay, so that is on the public list. So you can still send bid requests to vendors who aren't enrolled with you. Just keep in mind they have to get enrolled and get compliant before they can start the job. You're going to want to put your zip code in here. There's that radius again. And then you're going to click on Get Vendors. That box always pops up for me. It won't for you, so just ignore that. Okay. Vendor results, scrolling down. Here's all the vendors that meet that search criteria, and you can see there's pages of them. All right, so you can see a little bit of their information here, but you can choose as many as you would like, and then click on Send Bid Requests, which I'm not going to do because these are legit vendors, and I don't want to confuse them. But as soon as you send that bid request out, it gets put right up here so you don't forget what you did. Any questions on that? Okie dokie. Okay. Before we end the training, that's pretty much it for your account, by the way. That's, we've gone over everything. So feel free to log in. It's all set to go for you. Play around, do whatever you want. You cannot break anything at all. So whatever you want to do in your account, get some practice. If you thought training was thrilling and you can't get enough, remember, there's that training video right there. One thing I want to show you, though, before we go, is the enrollment page. Okay, so whenever you send that invitation out and the vendor clicks on that link, this is where it takes them. So we're not going to go through the whole enrollment process because this isn't anything you have to do, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like. We give them a lot of information here. This is a live chat feature. I'm just going to minimize that though because it's in my way. But it gives the vendor our contact information, all kinds of stuff about us, benefits to enrolling with us, frequently asked questions, and all that good stuff. For a vendor who's already on our public list, they just log in and add you. It's like a 3 or 4 minute process. If they need to create an account, they just click on Get Started Now, and then they create an account. All right, so pretty easy for them. Just take note of your enrollment link. It's www.netvendor.net/fickling. I think I'm gonna pop that in the chat box. So just in case you're not sending a vendor, one of those formal invitations, like maybe they just come into your office or something, you can give them that enrollment link. Don't have them go to our website, only because they can't enroll from there, and then they tend to get confused on what they're supposed to do. So go ahead and just give them your enrollment link, and it takes them to this page. If you have any questions or the vendor has any questions, I just put our email address in the chat box. It's compliance@netvendor.net. We have a whole team of people who help vendors all day long, and property managers and insurance agents. So if you ever need anything, if a vendor wants to get a hold of us, by all means, please give them that email address, or here's our phone number. Okay, so you can certainly call us if an email is not going to quite get it done. Last thing is my email address. Now, this is definitely not for vendors. Please, please, don't give that one to vendors. Give them the compliance. There's a lot more customer service team members than there is me. So if I get bombarded with vendor emails, I can't help you guys as well as I want to. So this is only for you. And I would suggest if you just have some basic questions, is a vendor compliant, or, whatever it may be, I still recommend going to the compliance email address. But for me, emergencies, we need to get this guy compliant, we just had a flood or something like that, I can help you. I can delegate to the proper people to help you with that. That's it for me. Does anybody have any questions? Last chance. Or you can always call us. But last chance for the training. Any questions? All right. Oh, just let me remind you, if you did not put your property name in the chat box, please do so now. If you called in a little bit late, I did ask that you do that. That way you can get credit for the training. So if you have not done that, please do so now. Other than that, I am done. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.